9 a.m., the ECUD building in the main campus, our conference room.
You don't have to
Mr.
agenda?
No, Mr. Hendricks, would you give us a
Absolutely.
invitation?
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for everything. Father, I pray that the words that are spoken today will be pleasing unto your sight. I pray that you will bless everything that we touch and that you will give us strength, peace, patience, kindness, and that you will instruct us on the way you want it done. Father, we give you all the honor and glory and praise. For it's in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. You have to do the read the public comment part.
Are we streaming?
Yes.
That answers your question there, bro.
Yeah, I guess so.
Uh-huh.
Public comment on agenda items. Members of the public may comment on any agenda item listed below. Members of the public may speak up for 3 minutes per agenda item on which they comment. Members of the public will speak on agenda item after presiding officers calls the meeting to order. Individual members of the public wishing to address the board at this meeting must register to speak within 15-minute period before the meeting begins by signing and completing a request to speak on the agenda item form. Item number 2, review the 2027 budget. I believe everybody got an email asking if there were any questions, and I'm not sure, did we get any submitted questions?
I didn't respond like to every good question, but I probably can have a few questions, but
Sure. Yeah, I think.
we're gonna go through them one by one.
Yeah, yeah. The only what I was, my whole objective of doing that is to try to have the answers, whatever documentation or prepared to be able to answer the questions for you. And so whether it was you or any of the board members. So while we go through this every single month with the financials. So all we're doing is setting the numbers of what we're going to budget. We think we are going to receive in revenue or in expenditures as we move forward, and what dollar amounts we feel like that we want to move around. Question, some of the larger ones, some of your questions might be, what vendors make up the majority of that? One of your questions might be, why do we have expenses that show for meters, for infrastructure, and then for the pump station? We kind of went through that a year ago. And so some of you might not remember, some of you might have not been here when we went through all that. So those are some questions that you might have. But I'm prepared to try to answer as many of them as I can. And as always, the ones that I can't answer, I can always get back to you. And what we're doing today is just a workshop. We're not adopting the budget. We're not adopting a rate. We're not approving anything. This is like
To see if there are any tweaks we want to make.
this is like putting together a house plan. So you're putting together an architectural budget plan for this entity. And so that's really what we're doing. So there's no votes, there's no nothing today. This is all discussion. And then based on what your recommendations are to the proposed budget that I put together, then we do have to adopt a budget.
Next week, right?
Well, we can, depending on how today goes, well, no, we can't because the agenda's already cut off.
Yeah.
It's done. We're done with the agenda and moved on to other tasks. So we would have to adopt it in September.
Okay.
Which is normally when we adopt the budget and we adopt a tax rate, and we still have to adapt the tax rate even though it's 0.
Okay.
Or discussion to put anything back on the ballot that the board so chooses. So so with that, are we ready? Do you have any questions or anything? Nope. Okay. So your water revenue is the water, what we receive in revenue from customer bills. That's what water revenue is. It does not include the tap fees. It doesn't include tampering fees, NSF charges, delinquent letters, any of that. At one time, that was all merged up inside of that. And since I've been here, we have broken it down so that we could determine exactly where a lot of our revenue is streamed from and what areas that we have that we control the cost of. While you control the cost of your revenue rate, because you set your water rates, you set your base rates, there are other ancillary fees that we receive that come in. There are fees that we don't charge that other districts charge, that we could entertain if that's what this board so decided. Some of the other fees that other districts charge, as I've discussed with y'all before, are, for example, if there's a whole brand new subdivision that's coming in, and our staff has to go look at, we actually have to look at the engineering plans. We look at where all the lines are going to be done. I make sure that the hydrant placements are within our guidelines that we require. Sometimes I have to visit with the actual subdivision builder who's building it in. We have to deal with their general contractors. We have to go out there and inspect everything that's going into the ground. We make sure that everything is to our specs, that they pay out where they need to be. And so there are entities that charge a fee to that subcontractor to offset our expenses for our staff doing all of that for them. I'm just telling you, so there are other ways that we could look at generating revenue in the future. I didn't put any other additional revenue on this other than what we have used in the past. But at one point, if this board wants to entertain those ideas, wants to have a workshop to generate, to visit other options of revenue, we could set up a workshop for that. Or if you want to come in one-on-one with me and we can discuss some of your ideas, some things that I know that the other districts do, I'll be glad to do that. Okay. So a lot of this is really self-explanatory. So penalties, tap income, new customer deposits. It's basically the same as a lot of what we had the year before, because that some of the numbers that were in the budget from 25-26 are a little bit different for the proposed budget. There are some changes that have gone along, like for example, new customer deposits. We had last year 65,000. This year in the proposed, it's up $4,000. It looks projected for our year, for this current fiscal year, that we're going to hit 69. So I just budgeted that amount to match it. Our return check fees has increased. So I mirrored it, and kind of the same all the way kind of down the line. The one that that I feel like will hit, that even though our staff is making every attempt to try to collect from the customer, the delinquency letter fee income is a fee that we get, but you have to remember it's an offset expense that is billed to us in ABR. So it's a wash. It's a revenue coming in, but on that ABR expense, it comes right back out. Okay, so as we go down, and of course your water deposit refunds, that's got brackets around it because that's a subtraction, that's a debit. The tax revenue, even though we don't collect any taxes, there are individuals that didn't pay their tax bills. So I only budget $1,000 a month because that's a really number I don't know
Yeah, who's gonna pay?
who's going to
Who's not?
pay and who isn't going to pay. And the majority of that time that comes into effect when a property is going to be sold. So someone's going to sell their property, they haven't paid their taxes, and so it's collected at the title company and then sent to the appraisal district, and then in turn all the tax entities get reimbursed for the back tax. So that means the county gets it, we get it, school district gets it, the hospital district gets it. And now we have an ESD, they would get it. So while we collected 53,000 year to date, and I project, so I've still got 12. Okay, so if somebody wants that change, we'll change it.
On the revenue side, it's not quite as critical. I mean,
No,
anything in excess of $12,000 is just in our pocket.
yeah,
That's
it just increases the net profit at the end of the budget for the year.
It can go either way, right? You can go up or down.
Well, eventually nobody will owe us anything. But that might be 50 years from now.
Right.
You know, it could be forever, but the entity will always collect that tax because it's taxes they owed before it became zero. Yeah, so, but eventually it'll,
Dwindle away.
I can't gauge whether we're gonna collect 50
So
next year, or if I'm gonna collect 50,000, or if I'm gonna collect 100,000, or we might only collect 5. But that tells me we're gonna collect at least 1,000 a month. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and just keep it at 12. And as Director Kelly said, anything in excess is just
more profit.
additional income that we can use on the bottom line.
Right.
Everybody good with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then we come down into the, so that gives you a total revenue of your proposed budget of 8,324,000.
Wait a minute, we skipped over the water station.
Oh, I'm sorry, the water station. So while I was very aggressive last year, even wanted to put in more money. And the board was, I think it was Daryl that was really the one that was more realistic, and he was like, I'm not sure, so we dropped it. So,
That's on the Knox water station.
and so for right now, there's really not that many people that are using the water station when it's open various hours of operation. So I don't know whether to tell you that if you extended the hours, that it would be used more after hours, if it would be used more on the weekends, or I can't tell you that. I can't.
Something we need to look into.
So it's something that the board might want to entertain. This is not, this budget meeting is not to set a new rate for the water station.
Right.
Okay, so that's not what this meeting's for. It can be, we can address what we think to increase profit on the water station. In fact, it's on the agenda. Some ideas of maybe what we could do for next week. So again, as Director Kelly pointed out, I can't really predict what that tax income is. So it's kind of hard for me to project what the water station revenue income would be. But after this meeting and next week's meeting on the water station, before we adopt a budget, this number can go up or down, along with whatever you decide to do to increase the revenue on that end could also affect expenses on the bottom end.
I think, about the water station, people that are using it and not using it. Most of the people that buy water, their tanks are stationary. So not everybody has a trailer with a tank on it to go buy it. Most of the people already have a service, somebody goes, provides the water to them.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think that's part.
I have been
What's happening?
talking to several of the delivery guys and trying to figure out something with them where they come out here and fill up instead of going all the way into town. And it's something that I want to address maybe next week. If we can, have a contract for some of the guys that deliver, where they start buying from us instead of buying from somebody in the city to help us out too. But it may take negotiations on price or the way they pay or whatever,
Right.
So in one of those deals, we set up a charge account for certain delivery people. And they just put in their number and then they're billed once a month. Cause they're like, I don't wanna run a credit card every time I have to go fill up that tank. Cause I fill it up 35 times a day.
So, no offense, but again. we'll
Yes,
discuss
it's not
that
this
next
time.
week.
Yes, ma'am.
Not at this meeting.
Sorry.
That's okay. So, yeah, so that's why that's low, Director Kelly. But if you think we need to change it, now's the time.
Not until we got more information.
Okay, I'm on board with you. Okay. So the total revenue is 8,324,000. Everybody's in agreement with the revenue side? Any changes, anything we need to do? We'll wait and see after our, regular board meetings. And see if we need to change it. Okay. Okay, now for the expense side. So, payroll and salaries, is up, with the standard raise that we give across, to the employees that we have for the, well, since I've been here and before. So it's the standard, 4%. That changes your taxes a little bit. Health insurance, has gone up a little bit, but not a whole lot. Then, of course, the payroll service that does everything and sends in your 941s and everything. Insurance for our auto buildings and everything, has gone up. What has gone up? Well, you all know, you pay your house insurance and auto insurance, and so, all of it has gone up. Just our automobile and insurance for all of our equipment, the forklift, the backhoes, the excavators, the trailers.
Well, we also have new equipment too, correct?
Yes, well, it has gone up, and so it went up. It really went up more than anything.
Yeah, it went up like $20,000.
Yeah, overall with everything. So it has gone up now. But if you look, we budgeted 65 and our year to date is 34 change. And my projected is 73 for the end of the year. I only have one insurance bill that's still out that will come in and be due before the end of this fiscal year. And it's for the buildings and everything, and it hasn't come in yet. And so based on, so even 65, we went up to 73. So if I factor in that percentage of probably what that bill is going to be, now mind you, when they come in, I shop all of it. We shop it and everything. And while the workman's comp and some things have gone down, some things have gone up. And so that's why I have that 85 in there, because even the 65 was short 10 grand. So, yeah, just rounding. So, yeah, so.
And on payroll, Debbie, are we outsourcing that or we doing that in-house or?
So we do on the payroll, they they deposit the checks. We do everything, the timesheets and everything in-house. And then, but that we outsource to make sure the 941s are done. We get copies of them, and we have a portal now with the IRS where we can make sure that those payments are actually being deposited and made. Yes, sir.
Thank God.
Yes, sir. We do. Yes, that is,
I had
yes.
that trouble once.
Not on our watch, Director Kelly, not on our watch. Then, of course, the city of Odessa's, water bill that we pay. Then the leak adjustment. And as you can see, at one time that leak adjustment was 25. If you guys will remember, John came in and asked for additional 20,000 and 25. So when we did the budget for 25-26, we raised it that 20,000 to 45,000. We have already used because these numbers were through the end of June. Okay, so probably for when we do the leak adjustments for July, we're out of money. We're out of the 45. So we have basically, when people call, we tell them that we budget, believe it or not, $45,000 for leak adjustments. When we have a bad winter and a lot of freeze, and customers do not protect their pipes, because that's what eats up most of this leak,
Yep.
is irresponsibility on the consumer side. And so they have pipes that freeze that are not protected. And so that eats up the majority of this money. That's where that money comes from. And so unfortunately, you left the water faucet on outside, or you have a leaky toilet. I can't, I'm out of money. I'm sorry. Go get fix all the insides in your toilets. I talked to a lady the other day, and I've got her watching her water every single day, every day. And she used a consumption from 11 o'clock the day before at night, 11 p.m. all the way till noon the next day. I was just gonna say, and then it quit. Her argument is I wasn't home. I wasn't home. So when I told her, I said, well, I said, I said, our technology is so sophisticated. I can tell you what you're using on the hour of the day.
Yeah.
And so that consumption was when you were night. Everybody was on night. And so somebody's toilet.
Mhm.
And I said, so please just go change all the insides of your toilet for me. And if you can't do it yet, go turn off the water underneath. Go turn off underneath. She was so appreciative. And so we tried really hard to try to navigate with them, but anyway, off topic. So that's $45,000. So is the board still good with that?
I think it's more than enough. I like to see us, and I'll bring this up on the floor. Trying to help them in other ways.
Mhm.
But 45,000, I don't know. Me and Jesus talked about this here a while back. Was talking about bringing it up. I don't know if he's got any more thoughts on it, but it jumped from 25 to 45.
Mm-hmm.
And some people really need the help, and some of them are users, you know.
Yeah,
I
sure.
understand that.
You're
And
absolutely
how
right.
do you differentiate?
Huh?
And how do you differentiate?
I think you have to leave that kind of up to the staff, because the staff is the one who knows who your repeat offenders are. They're the ones who have talked to them multiple times throughout the course of their existence with ECUD. We are the ones who have the history of their pay record. So the board really needs to defer those to the staff and y'all, because they are the ones. And of course, reach out to us and say, which the majority of you do this. You know, I have Mrs. Smith on the phone. She called me, she says, blah, 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 blah. And 9 times out of 10, I've already gotten involved. So we have that conversation. Well, it's not really like that. It was really kind of like this. And, oh, well, that's not what she said. Well, okay. I mean, Director Kelly had one come in and said, he and I had a conversation with her, and everything that he had kind of told her was not really what she fessed up when the 3 of us were here. And so sometimes you just have to learn that, but you have to really have the trust in the staff that the staff has a compassionate heart, but they also, their first is ECUD. They know that ECUD is what's important. And while I have compassion, still there's some responsibility on your part.
Well, I think we've been somewhat strict on our expenses, and I'm thinking, like, don't be so soft on this topic.
Mhm.
Because $45,000 is a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Oh, it is. I mean, if this board right now wants to cut it back to 10 grand to 35, I'll cut it back. If you want me to cut it back to 20, 25, I'll cut it back.
We're already at 45. I think that's plenty.
Yeah, I don't think you need to bump it.
Me, just on the business side, is giving stuff for free. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, I would honestly just say get rid of it, but you have to have some compassion and have to live out with that. There are, I mean, the elderly,
We still
all
need
that
that.
stimulating circumstances, but, I mean, it's just like the way you call it.
And, hey, I got a business. I said, well, what business do you have? My water bill was $1,000. And I was, I'm sorry. She told me a different story, and I talked to Debbie and the girls, and they were like, yes, I told her, because she said she'd change out her water. So we'll bring us receipts. Bring us receipts. She goes, well, I paid with a credit card. I said, the credit card has receipts. I said, yeah, receipts.
But see them,
They never do it.
well, we've been calling them, they bring you the charge for the receipt, but then I have it repeat, I send them out there with the receipts are for.
Nothing.
Nothing. That's not what they replace, that ain't even what they did, you find that they didn't even buy the material, and so they know they can buy something at Westlake.
There was just giving an idea, we could maybe put some set of rules or policies or requirements for you to qualify for this one. Like maybe you're an elderly, that can't take care of your line, but if you're a 30-year-old man that can take, will maintain your house, why pay him?
And I think you're gonna take it a further step further is, okay, you have to fix professionally. And I'll consider it because we know that it's not gonna happen next week. Correct. So,
Yeah.
We got some requirements for qualify for this money, and it's just.
but on the business side, I mean, but
I think it definitely needs to be addressed at the board meeting, but
So,
I'm good on 45.
and that's where part of this problem, and I think when I had mentioned this before was when I said the city of Pecos, if you have RVs on your property, you cut your pressure down to 5 PSI, and they make you put water tanks because they've had so much water stolen, and people didn't pay their bills. So it's either you put a meter at each RV, or you put a tank and we cut you down to 5 PSI, and that tank's, so you can just fill that and your whole property pulls off that tank.
okay, so can we do this? This is a suggestion. We'll put a written policy together on the September board meeting, since we've already closed for August. We'll leave it at 45. I think all of you have a different perspective and a different idea of how it should be. So if each of you will either one, call me with what you would like to see in that policy. What do you want in the policy? Because you all have a different perspective. Then what I'll do is write up a draft policy, because your idea might be kind of like Troy's, just a little different. Your two might be the different. And then an idea John has is the same idea that you all do. Then I'll put together a draft, and we'll put that on the September agenda of how you would like it to be. And then when you see it all kind of mashed together, then what we can do is we can polish it up. And then maybe kind of October, which is your beginning of your new fiscal year, then that's a policy that you're going to adopt starting in your new fiscal year. And then if you feel before September, again, that we don't want to leave it at 45 after you've thought about it a little more, you want to drop it or raise it, then we can do that before we adopt the budget.
That's good.
Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Okay, so then everyone's gonna submit something to me, written or verbal, doesn't matter. You can call me, I can take notes. So I'll take notes, whatever you think we need to do. Do keep in mind that we do have a list that is provided to us of entities that help pay utility bills, whether it's electric bill, a water bill, or a gas bill. They help them.
Like Catholic charities and stuff.
And so they will help the customers that have an issue. But if it's they're not gonna help them if it's an abandoned piece of property that somebody went over there and turned on the water somewhere and someone's stealing it. They're not gonna do that.
They're pretty good about weeding out the
Absolutely.
Yeah,
grubs.
and the repeaters,
Yes.
and stuff. And so, yeah, they're pretty good, but we do refer them because they're there. We want to try to help the customer as much as possible. Okay. The TCEQ fees, we had budgeted 40. Their fee structure of how they're doing it now, what they've adopted is less, and they've passed it on to builders. So that fee can be dropped. So that's why
Because we've been paying them $40,000 a year, haven't we?
Yes, sir.
yes,
So they're putting it off on somebody else.
yeah. So that's my understanding. Director Kelly, that doesn't mean that in the middle of our budget, we don't get a letter that says, here's a new bill and here's what comes.
It's not written on stone.
Yeah, it's not written in stone, it's the government. It's we gotta make it do whatever they want.
But they've sent out a notice
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, it was a news flash. So that's what that is right now. So we're good on that. So I had budgeted 6,000 for laboratory fees, and we've already spent 9,700. And I anticipate that we're going to do probably around 11, and I have increased that budget to 15. And the reason that it was that I missed that target is because that when we turned on all the ARPA lines, as we gradually turned them on, the testing that we had to do repeatedly, which is required, and then we had an issue with the line that comes across 16th and down and then went down Knox. It kept reading with bacteria. And so we could not turn it on. So we had to continue test and run. So with new lines, we are required to do that because our goal is to always to deliver quality water. In fact, when the city had their little problem with the lakes turning over because of all the flood and they had the stinky water, we were way ahead of the game and we didn't end up with none of that. We ended up with none. So we were all good. We reacted so good. So anyway, but
I had sticky water in the house, but I had sticky water in the restaurant.
yeah, but what's crazy is it wasn't like in the city, I can
Oh,
promise.
yeah.
Oh,
The city, one of my
So-
employees filled up the wash machine yesterday and been on for a month
mhm.
and she started puking.
Yeah,
Immediately. It was bad.
yeah. And we were so on top of it. We were the first before this thing did anything. So
We knew it stunk before
Yeah,
the city.
the staff was just amazing. Anyway, we were so good. Anyway, so because of the 17 million in projects from the county is going to require us to do more testing and stuff with these 3 new subdivisions. So that's why I raised it to 15. Okay. So, yeah, so the bank charges are the same. The election cost, of course, the election's in November, so we have to pay the cost to the county for the election in this budget year. Our legal notices, we have 8,000 budgeted. Some of that, and regardless of, and I didn't put a projected or we haven't spent anything year to date. It's depending on how, excuse me, what this board decides on if they want to put some additional things on the ballot and when we have to publicize those. So that's why I didn't put anything in the projected, because if this board decides that it wants to put a tax rate on the ballot, then we'll have some notices that have to be publicized. So that's why and if the district wants to take in the entire annexation process, well, then we have to work on some notices and stuff. So we could incur some expenses for that in this fiscal year if the board so chooses to do that before the year ends. But regardless, because we have an election and stuff, we still have to do notifications. So we would still have an expense, and we have to publish the tax after we have to put it in the paper before we adopt it and stuff. So some of those will occur later on in our fiscal year, but how much is really predicated upon y'all. Okay. I budgeted 65,000 again for legal fees.
I'm gonna say something on this. I'm gonna say good job, board, all of you, because we've only gonna spend 37.5. So that's $30,000 that we've been able to save instead of having like previous boards having a babysitter for us. We've been able to cut that nearly in half. So that's $30,000 we can put back in the ground hopefully at the end of the year. So thank y'all for that.
The next one is, other professional services. We budgeted 50 and,
Is that considered, bookkeeping, auditing or?
no, that is, under accounting. So other professional services, are gonna be like, um, for example, when we have to do our 811s, that's a professional service that we ask for additional outside services to do. The,
Oh, you want them to come check, if there's
Yeah.
any, okay.
yeah, so it's just those kind of little things.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
They
charge
don't
too.
look individual.
No, but
No.
the company does.
Right.
Yeah, so the company does. It could be other professional services, could be, I think what we, because there was a, I moved all in. No, well, that could be part of them, but I tried, if it's an overall, not tied to something like the SCADA system, particularly for the trip pump station or for the SCADA system, but I have to reach out to Colin or to, Dustin to help with the reading of stuff that's all over, including the office, then that goes into other, because I don't want it to hit the cost center for the pump station or for in-ground services. Another fee would be, Mike Atkins, who does all of our IT stuff. He's an outside professional service, so that's there. That's what goes in here. So it's other contractors that are not underneath engineering, accounting, or PSC. So if it's anything other than what actually goes into those GLs.
Is it the same Mike Atkins that work for ECISD?
Oh, no.
No,
He passed away.
No, we didn't.
No, you're talking a lawyer. I'm talking one used to be with the.
Used to be with you, used to work with my brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
He's still with school.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, he's still there.
principal.
No, he's a public information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just their voice, their mouthpiece.
Still has that professional.
I always received that confidence, my cat is with.
Uh-huh. ECISD.
Yeah.
I know, right? ECISD parent. Yeah. Great guy.
Okay, so that's that. Then, PSC,
Do we ever put that out for quotes? On what they do,
I have,
how long they've been here?
they've been here for a really long time. Mhm. Yeah, to be real honest with y'all, they kind of have a monopoly because there's not a lot of people that will do what they do.
What's it?
I know they're statewide PSC.
PSC,
Oh,
I mean, that especially Director Kelly, that has staff here. You can find some of them, they don't have staff here. They're off-site, and so your fees and stuff would be, I'd probably double
What
from
else
what
is
they
it?
do.
They do a lot for oil field too. so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
they can come to our meetings sometimes to make sure that we get answers and, you know.
And I know sometimes that with y'all, the perception of what PSC does is, I mean, they basically operate the system. They operate the system. Demetrio and crew fix the system. They operate it. They communicate with Demetrio on everything. If there's something that's out of whack. But like, farther down here, one of the clay valves went out. And so that's a 20-something $1,000 cost to work on that clay valve out of the pump station. But it's PSC that's out there because they work 24/7, 7 days a week. And so they're the ones who throw up the red flag and say, hey, the valve's not shutting and we're filling up too much water because it didn't shut off, kind of like a toilet. So their call in the middle of the night calls Demetrio and crew. And so we go out there and then we turn valves and do what we have to do. And then we call and get the clay valve repaired or replaced. But they're the ones that go, hey, there's a leaky toilet, we're in trouble. So they do a lot. And they are so all the ones that all of the requirements that you are required with TEC, they partner with me to help write those procedures and turn them all in to TCEQ. So they do more than probably what you think that they do. So they're a very valuable instrument to your industry. And anytime you want to know everything they do, well, I'm sure one of the guys will be glad to put you in the truck with the PSC and you can go with them all day long and you can sit through, go all through every PEC file that I have. So anyway, so that's that. Then engineering. So while we have the majority of the engineering that Kimberly Horn does is for outside, is right now for the county. But there are engineering projects that you guys will ask, like when y'all ask them to look at Knox Village for us, if we wanted them to look at the expansion on another area, or as we put on more customers through the 17 million and the customers that we have, if we have to hire them to tell us if we need a lift station or a small pump station to pump up our water plane, or we need to change a distribution line or anything like that. So you're always going to use your engineer for something, okay?
How much do you budget for that?
30. Yeah, 30. I kind of take it as like the attorney fees. We put it at 65, but we might only spend 40 this year. Well, I much there have 30 in the budget.
Yep.
Then we trying to figure out how to rob from parts that we definitely have to have that you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so I'm good with that. Or y'all good with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so accounting, due to, us doing the majority of everything that we do in-house, really, basically, that fee is just the minimum every single month, as you have seen through your financial statements. But that dollar amount that we projected, of 40,000 and our year-to-date of 38 is your physical audit, is your year-end audit. So that year-end audit is what cost us 36,000 last year. So, so our monthly accounting fees are very minimal. Our rent and personal property, I'll get rid of that. Well, that's a zero because we're not paying anything over for the to Frosty Gillum for the pump station any longer. Leased equipment. That leased equipment is if the backhoe goes down and I have to go rent one. If I have to go rent a jackhammer, those things. Of course, utilities, telephone, that went down a little bit.
Office expense went down.
telephones, but, it's, um, our office expense went down. That was a little bit higher the year before, because we had to replace a lot of hard drives. And I think everybody now has a new hard drive, but Demetrio, um, uh, then our AVR, our building system, it's just tweaked just a little bit. Some of that is because of the postage going up and paper and supplies, so their fee's gone up a little bit. We had 12,000 for travel. I left it at 12, even though we haven't spent any yet. We were lucky enough to get some of the training that the board approved for the guys to go do. So it was, local in Midland. Their classes that I want them to go to is, not gonna be local at the latter part of this year. So I've just left it at that. We haven't attended, a water conference or anything since 23. I would really like for the staff to be able to do that this coming year, because technology is changing. That's where you learn about another PSC. You learn about where there's a different source for hydrants, is at those conferences and stuff like that. So, I'd like to leave that at 12 so that if there's an event that comes up, that staff will be able to go to that. The truck and fuel, I had budgeted 105. And so we're gonna come in under budget on that. We broke out, and this was trying to fix it because a lot of the repair and the fuel, and so in other words, 6141 and 6141.1 at one time were all together. So trying to determine what piece of that total was fuel and repair. When I did the prior budget was semi-guess, trying to just pool 6 months and average it. And so I'm going to take the truck fuel to 45 and then the repairs for all of our equipment to 55. Because
That's gas and diesel combined.
yes, sir. Mhm. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. And if y'all want me to raise it a little bit more, we can. I project we'll be around 40, so I've got 32, but I bet you it comes in around 40.
And depending on how the war goes, you never know.
No, so,
Way up or down.
so if y'all want to increase it to 50 or 55, now's the time to tell me.
I'd say go to 55 on it.
55, okay.
On truck it. On the truck it. On the fuel, yes.
Yeah. I have a feel for it, but y'all are working in it every day. You know what I'm saying? So that's fine.
And, on this 6141.1, the truck equipment and backhoe. I'm assuming that was the old backhoe. We have a brand new backhoe with a warranty, so I'm assuming that repair cost would go down.
It can, part of this in that right there is also trailers. I had a broken axle on a trailer that had to get repaired. So it's not just backhoe, it's truck equipment
Right.
and backhoe.
But,
I have two trucks that are in this fleet that are original trucks from a while back. I did not put in here to purchase any new vehicles, but you've got two trucks
that are old,
that are old.
very old.
That if we stay in here and we're good in the first 6 months of this year, and I can trim or stay within this like I did the prior year, I would like to entertain purchasing a couple of
One
vehicles
or two.
to get those ones that are costing us a lot of money. And here's the deal. These trucks, they don't go up and down the highway at all. And they don't have a lot of miles on them,
But the wear and tear.
but the
will stop
wear
and
and
start.
tear up and down these alleys.
So are these the regular pickups?
Yes.
That's what, you and I talked about this. I would like to look at options of leasing and 3 times versus half times.
It kills us.
Can that fall under capital expense too?
Yeah, well, I mean, the way that we've done these before is we've paid cash for them and we have the ability to do that. So that so that we're not, we would depreciate them off.
Mhm.
But yeah, that would be a capital expense and stuff. So
Wouldn't necessarily have to come out of this.
no,
No.
no, because this is strictly repair, not replacement.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I would like to entertain that as we move forward based on where the economy is,
Mhm.
what the price of trucks are.
Yeah.
Where we think we can get them and kind of ascertain, because like I've had to replace the air conditioner, I had to replace, I mean, it's,
You're already talking about leasing instead of buying.
There's options because leasing programs have changed. It's not the same anymore as it used to be. They're better. And if they're doing all the repairs, to a certain point, I don't know, they'll do the repairs. And after the lease is up, we can still actually look at purchasing one,
purchasing it.
even at a cheaper rate. Because now it's, if the truck's still holding value, you'd only finance what the truck is worth at that time, not,
After depreciation.
after depreciation.
So they,
That's something we look at it.
Yeah. It's changed. My wife, her new Land Cruiser, that's why I was like, what? I was like, she said, it's so much better. For her, it's better to lease it.
Yeah, because she gets to write it off on her Schedule C and everything. Yeah. But so that is one reason why that expense has been in there. But again, had an axle break on a trailer. This is new tires. That also includes oil changes. Because I have to give Demetrio, he has a checklist on every vehicle. He has a number. He knows what vehicle needs to go to get its oil changed. When it's time to change the fluids, when it's time, he has a sheet on every single piece of equipment that we own. So a lot of this sometimes is preventive maintenance, so that these vehicles and trucks will last. But I do have two that I think it's time to replace both of them. I think they're to the point where, as you pointed out, Director Kelly, I think they're gonna cost us more money the longer we keep them. And I agree with Daryl, we need to look at either,
Do you know off the top of your head how long you've had them?
I'd have to go pull their titles, but I'm gonna tell you, my guess is they are probably, I'm gonna say 19. No, that would be right. That would make only two of them. Let me think this.
It's only 8 years.
Yeah.
7 years.
Yeah, maybe 19.
Yeah, they both have to.
Pardon me?
They both have
I
to.
think so, Daryl.
That's all. That's three.
I know, I think when. the
Majority of them are half ton, so aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, after.
I think I heard too.
So I think that's another,
Yeah,
I
and
think
so
that's something that we need to look at as.
what the truck is being actually used for. And so is it used, is it designed to do what you're using it for really?
Did we tow the backhoe or we broke it?
Do what, baby?
Do we tow the backhoe or?
No, it rides. They drive.
Broke it, broke it.
Mhm. Yeah. And a lot of times, like certain areas, because we've had this discussion before,
It'll
it'll
leave
spin.
it there, yeah.
Yeah. And the backhoes, I mean, we just had, Warren Cat out here to, do the hourly maintenance on it that's required. So again, Demetrio's on top of all that, whether it's needs it or not, and check it out, make sure it's okay. So, we haven't renewed the license and stuff on the vehicles yet because they're kind of all the same. So I've just left it at 1,000, but right now there's nothing in the year to date yet because it hasn't, that expense hasn't occurred yet. Meter expenses is a little bit, higher than what we budgeted. In fact, I'm probably under budgeted by $5,000, maybe six. So it's gone up to 115. A lot of that's cost of service along with 6145.01, the meter repair expenses. It's just due to cost of goods.
I want to talk to you about that. Like a few months back, a couple months back, I came and signed some checks
Mhm.
and saw some expenses.
Mhm.
And I went asking around about this prices on I noticed that we had bought little couplings, I guess they call them long barrels. They're a piece of 14-inch pipe, like 18 inches long. But each of them cost over $4,500, $44,600 each. So we bought two, it cost over $9,000. It's a little piece like this. And I went asking around about it. Yeah, that's a price. They say it's pretty expensive. But I also trying to check for some, what called it was number 3 rock, they called it, or number 12 rock.
Your 57, Rob?
Oh, yeah, 7 rock, yeah. And that is, we're paying too much for that.
It's what?
We are paying too much for that. Because here I have a receipt, an invoice for the 57 rock, yes.
So this is the one that you had said you knew somebody that could
Yes,
sell it to
yes,
us?
yes.
So did you give that contact and everything to Dimitri?
No, I haven't contacted Dimitri. I need to do so.
Yeah, if you'll just give him whoever it is on that, well then,
Because we paid for 3 loads of 57 rock, $4,950 for 3 loads. And I went asking around, each load costs about maybe between $300 and $400.
delivered.
Around delivered probably around
Yeah, because they have to,
$700 or
yeah,
$800.
yeah, they have to deliver.
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah, so just give
So,
Dimitri that contact and then he'll call them and get them, ask them to bring us rock.
right.
And we'll see what they bill us, what it's actually for.
With what we pay, we could bought like, I don't know, 10,
Because we go
or
through
10
it.
loads instead of 3.
Where do they use that pipe at that you're?
No, it's like the barrel that what I talked about. You use it goes from poly to steel.
Steel.
You can use it to connect from poly to steel pipe,
We don't have steel pipes, so it goes from poly to,
Clay.
clay or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, from one type to another. So they marry them together.
Do we buy that local?
We buy that together, right?
We buy it out of Medline. And sometimes what, and of course, the, you know, I'm not in the field, okay? But I know, because Troy and I've had this discussion and so has Daryl and I. A lot of times we can get it cheaper. But it's 2 months out. It's 90 days out. It's the lead time. And so we can't wait. We have to have it. So because we're not stocking it on here. We're not putting it here. So we have to have it. So we have to run and go get it. And sometimes it's the difference of putting in a tap, that customer not being able to move forward, or a subdivision not being able to move forward. And that kind of circles back to when I was talking to you about fees that we could charge. Subcontract, people are putting subdivisions and stuff to where we can kind of recapture some of that cost that we expend.
But it's not something that would justify putting a few on the shelf. Or if it's cheaper to buy a bullet, if you only need one, you've got 3 or 4 on the shelf. And it takes a year to use them or 6 months.
Depends on the size.
Depends on the size and what it
Yeah,
is.
there's so many variables that can.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that, because before we are in the whole business, I think we get overcharged for a lot of stuff. So, would it be cheaper to look elsewhere? Yeah. I mean, I would say leave it as an option. I mean, if it's, hey, it's down in San Antonio, we can still save money by sending somebody to go get it. Okay, I'm down for that, but it would have to be,
Yeah, because sometimes it's
Substantial savings.
yes.
it's-
What I understand about hot shots, though, you don't want to do that.
Mhm.
well,
$5 a month.
yeah, and the other thing is that it's really easy to call and get a cheaper price. And because this was part of the problem when I first came on, they could maybe buy product out of San Antonio, Houston's were a lot of it, some of it was El Paso. But by the time you add yellow freight to it,
Right, yeah.
and the freight, it was outrageous, and so I was like, no, don't buy it and put it on the shelf, because the overall cost is way more than me sending you to Midland to get it. Or y'all have to remember, you aren't really allowed to buy anything on the other side of the loop.
But whatever, generally these people we're buying it from, they have it stock, and call them up and say, we need one of these.
Pretty much. Yeah, yeah. So we use their cash
Right.
to stock it instead of using our cash.
No, I don't know if we got off subject, but anyhow, the meter expenses. Is that all new meters, or is that new ones and plus replacing old meters in the ground?
So it could be, yes,
It's
it's
both.
both.
We don't. Do we have a way of determining how many of the old meters that need to be replaced? We just go by the time, or is it how long, how often they're creating a problem, or how do we go about figuring that?
So our system in Badger, and the way we can read the meters, we can tell what meters, the age of these meters and when they went in the ground. So it's replacing old infrastructure, majority of it is, because through that, their readings are not in our favor.
If they're getting stuck.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I think it's
So-
way out of whack anyhow,
So-
so maybe we need to move it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So we try to replace those. So that's a great question, and it's both of them. It's really both. Now, your meter repair and maintenance, that is when we, like for you, for example, if we have to go through and replace yours, and we have to replace the saddle and the, blah, 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 well, then that's where this comes in. That goes on that line item. Because then that's meter repair and expenses. It's not the meter.
Who repairs the meters, the city doing that, or
No,
we good in-house?
yeah, if it's a meter that needs to be replaced or repaired, we can send it to Badger and they can tell us whether it can be repaired or not. But 9 times out of 10, its life is done. It's done. So we have to replace it with a brand new meter.
There's not much replacing these days.
Not much repair.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no.
Unfortunately, with us, that's the way a lot of it is. It's old inventory. I'm worried about.
Well, there you broke down, I'm sorry, you broke down the new meter expense right there.
I'm trying to get better, Director Kelly, so that y'all would be able to tell this, because this isn't really how it used to
Okay,
be.
on this new meter, expense, are you projecting like the meters that we're gonna put in the ground with this 17 million?
No.
Fine.
No,
So, because that's included. So, that's just the stuff that we have to buy.
the stuff that we do.
For our stuff.
That's all us. Because regardless of what they're doing, we still have new connections, repairs, the whole 9 yards. Our business goes on as usual.
It's just,
And if we get that grant though, that price is gonna increase.
well, probably for next
So
year.
we use that grant.
What's the thing working on this year's?
Oh, yeah, we'll be
But
using that grant money for that.
We'll use the 21 million for it. Or
Yes.
19 or 20 where we get. So it'll kind of be like the ARPA money, to where it doesn't really affect here, because they'll do an
It's
outlay to draw the money.
It's external money, right?
It won't affect our
Our
budget.
budget.
It won't affect our budget.
Because we're not gonna add that grant
Inventory.
into our budget either. So
It'll be
it's
treated
a
different.
separate entity.
I, since you brought that up, and you did read your emails when that went out,
Mhm.
so it was, and I don't know whether, I can't remember if I included this or not, but it wasn't, 100 pages worth of documentation that we submitted with plans and everything. It was 655 pages
Wow.
that we submitted for this grant. 655 pages. So if
But
any
if
of
we
you all of a sudden say, I want to see that package, it is,
And they're affordable.
It's a book.
I'm just telling you, 600, yeah, it was not,
But
and so
if,
it's a lot of work. This staff, anyway, I'm getting off subject, but anyway, I just wanted to know, 655 pages is what Kimberly Horn,
They already put it in.
it's already in, it's already gone.
it's in and we're, have checked every box.
Uh-huh.
All right.
So we're done.
It's up to the legislature. If we dance the right dance, then we might get the money.
I think we're gonna get some money. I just don't know how much yet. And I'm working with lobbying with some of the legislators to try to help with TWB, but I also do know that there are others. City, Midland hired a lobby group out of DC to go down there and lobby TWBs to give them their money. So I
They
have
get to
to
sing
go,
their
yeah,
money.
so I have to go through the back door. So if I tell you, I'm hauling back Thomaston or I try to go to Midland, I'm trying to lobby myself to get me money.
She does a lot of work. Is not on the hours.
So let's see, so
So bottom line, not the project, it's a lot.
It's politics.
It's all politics.
It's all politics. That's it. No matter how good you do on your homework, it's how well you
and trust me,
kiss it.
trust me. I'm gonna tell you. Yesterday, I got an offer to leave to go somewhere else, and it was
Big money.
because I'm good at what I do. So. Okay, so, miscellaneous expenses for your M and O, I dropped down.
Let me ask one question. Repair and maintenance pipe ground, that's if we have a leak or whatever, major leak, that's what that's supposed to go.
Yeah, or if, for example, it's not always a leak, because that's a great question too. I'm really good, you're doing good. So the other thing is like on Trip, when we had to lower those 1 inch lines before they widened it, that came under there. So things like when we have to do, this county's doing road repair and stuff like that, and we have to move our lines for that, that's where that goes. So like the lines and valves and stuff, they're gonna be done from 3rd Street going to, 16. Well, that expense of us having to do that will fall into that category as well, and as they widen 3rd Street. So anything that has to do with our valves that we're coordinating with the county, or subdivisions are coming in and we need to extend a line, a little bit or help them, then that's where that comes.
Is there anything you have to do when they do the moss back to,
What's it?
no, to Yukon?
When that comes in?
Yeah.
So, well, you mean the turnaround, the
Well, I know
roundabout?
right here from University all the way to Yukon, they're widening.
Yeah, they're gonna widen moss.
Yes. Mhm.
So we're not have to move anything there.
Yes, so yeah, we will. Well, plus, and part of what,
Cause I think that's a 4 mile stretch that they're.
yeah, so we'll have to do some work there, but, and of course, the county is, like I said, pushed all that back on us. To where we have to absorb the expenses now, we have to kind of do that politicking thing, kind of make this work,
Be easier if we had some sales tax rate.
to be able to make this all work. So, Jones Brothers on Trip, I think they put 8 valves in their bid that came from the engineer. And the engineer didn't have all the valves, so now Jones Brother has to do a change order, charge county more money because you have more valves out there than what was in the original drawings that were submitted to the contractor. And that sometimes
Very pricey.
sometimes it's done so that we get a bid because we can undercut it. Okay, so where are we? Maintenance. So miscellaneous M&O expenses, I lowered it a little bit, and the reason is, again, because I broke down the above. And that is why some of it went higher, over what I projected and under. So that one I lowered.
Back up just a minute, since you mentioned this M&O expenses, and we're bringing crap in that needs to wait for agenda meeting, but, and talking about Moss Road and a lot of this being put back on us, guys. I know it's gonna be hard, but that's all the reason we need an M&O tax. And it ain't gonna be much, but it's better than what we're getting now. But that's all my politicking I got to do.
So uniforms, the cost of uniforms and stuff that we do for the guys and has gone up a little bit, so,
Is this, so the increase of getting all these other areas, not get to the point where we're gonna have to hire
More staffs.
it just depends. Just depends. I'm trying real hard. I thought this 17 million and doing all these annexations and all this, I thought I was gonna end.
Okay, that's where, yeah.
Yeah, and so we just kind of, in my budget for salaries, right now, Dimitri's short one guy, and they're doing okay, but he's in my budget, so when he needs him to replace him. And part of it right now is he's just trying to find the right person to be able to do the skill set that he has. So, but I'm not gonna tell you that sometime during the year that I might not come and say, bring it to hire somebody else, because
I challenge you to come sit here at closing time and watch these girls walk out of this office, just the girls. They look like they've been beaten up by the Tasmanian devil. I mean,
No,
just,
that's why I was thinking, I really do a lot, and then expanding right now. At what point, at some point,
we're gonna have to, yeah.
yeah.
They've done a very good job the past couple of years keeping it under control.
I mean,
They've worked hard at it.
just the phone calls that they make.
Well, there was 88
there's
and-
88
annexations for next week.
to put on the agenda, 88.
88.
That's
huge.
Me, I just think of the phone calls, because that lady that wanted to call me, I was on the phone with her, I was like,
2 or 3. Oh, yeah.
Here you are.
They do this all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how comes. A lot of times I walk out of here and I'm still on my phone, all the way to my car, all the way to my house, and an hour after I get to the house. Okay, so uniforms, janitorial service and supplies, that's self-explanatory. The pump station, expenses, this is the first time that we've actually been able to kind of tell you what it costs to run that pump station. Because it's real easy to, it's always easy to say, hey, your wife wants to add on to the house. When you add on to the house, well, you got air conditioning, electric, and expenses, and toilet, and water.
More than anything.
So you have all these expenses, and so my management style is I want to know what each little piece is costing me. So this is again one of those pieces that I broke down, and we created new cost centers for it. So some of it I hit pretty good, and some of it I didn't hit.
So on these pump stations, they're including electric and,
Yeah, see where it says TXU. So everything with the 7400 GL number,
oh, yeah,
everything that's pump station and below is pump station.
okay.
Okay, and a little bit of why my numbers proposed are different from what was, we're gonna end with a year is, because it's way different than the meters and the expenses for infrastructure because I've kind of trained staff on that one already. But the pump station was a little new, so there were some actual expenses that did get put somewhere that really should have been in the pump station. And so that's why my numbers are somewhat the same, but yet some a little bit different.
Like the chloramine, you can lower that.
No,
Nope.
that's what we do to treat the water.
No, but you lower the chloramine from 66,000 to 35,000.
Yeah, because we had spent so much, a lot of it was when was based on the prior year. Because that's when we, turned on a lot of the towers and stuff, and we had 2 towers and the residuals were dropping because the water was just sitting. And traveling so much and then pushing it back over, and so I had to boost the chlorine levels to match TCEQ.
But as
So-
we fine tuned it,
We haven't had to use that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know,
every expansion
It's
is
kinda
gonna
like a-
create a need and then it's gonna dwindle back. And then a need and then dwindle back. Probably, well,
So-
when they hook up all that 17 million, the county
we're
will
gonna
probably
have,
have chloramine rushes. And then we get everything kind of tuned back and it'll level out.
just like the laboratory fees.
Is that chlorine station plant, whatever we built in up there, is it gonna be big enough to handle
Yes,
if we get both?
yes, yes. Right now, so far, the system and the chloramine and what we have, the way we are functioning today will be able to handle it. Yeah, I've already. Now, if we add on, depending where we add on Director Kelly, which again is a great question, then we're gonna have to look at a lift station and probably an injection station if we continue to go north, west. And any farther to Knox. We'll have to
Yeah,
look
because
at
that's a
that.
$54 million pump station right there.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to look at that. And then it becomes, then the board has to stop and think because, you have debt. So can you take on more debt to grow in that
I
area?
was looking at the west, it looks like from 866 or I-20, it comes like this to University.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if we go any further that way or this way, we're gonna have to pump it.
Push.
Pump it up. Push it
Going
up.
uphill.
But we have pumps.
We have
It goes so far. but then you
only
have
so
to-
far.
It's like a water hose. You can only go so far.
Like a-
No, I'm sorry, but we have the pumps we took out of
We have the pumps, but we don't have all the infrastructure and the land leases and all that stuff to put them together.
Correct.
Well, and while you
Because
Some
think
of them we can reuse.
you
Some of them-
may be able to just, here's the deal. With all the other technology that hooks to your pumps,
it's
if it
changed.
doesn't hook and it's changed up, then they don't connect.
that's what they used to run the whole waste with those pumps. Right.
But it's old technology.
So some of it, we might be able to sell that to Pleasant Farms if they did set up a utility district here, because then
But a lot of it's probably useless now.
some of it is not. Some of it will be and some of it might not be. So I guess what I'm trying to say is don't get the perception that it's all going to be able to be reused because it might not be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Just like a 1960s television, nowadays television.
exactly. So that being said, your proposed budget with the change to truck fuel up to 55 from 45 will now make your expenses 5,825. Right? Yeah,
Yes,
25,
400.
400. Hey,
Theoretically, we ought to make $2.5 million.
yes, sir.
If we keep under budget.
And, And this year, if under the proposed, or under my proposed year ends, if everything goes great, we should end up making about 800,000 for the year, for this fiscal year. So we're,
I have a question that's not in this budget, and it's probably issue. But we should take it to the board meeting, the regular board meeting. I would see, well, that's not part of the budget. The money that we have left from the money we had, we said we had set aside.
The 1 million,
I don't know how much we got left.
it was a 1 million last year, and then we spent a bunch of it helping trying to get this new grant.
it was,
We voted on
It
it.
was 2 million that we.
no, it was a
that was
million and a
1 million,
half.
Right,
Oh, time out.
Sorry.
and then we paid for that third street or the tree. Project, that we did.
We gave up that money, we gave the leftover money back,
Okay.
back to the county,
Okay.
remember? And then they are paying all the expenses, which
We cannot smell like a rose.
So
Okay,
we cannot do it.
yeah.
How much we got there?
so you might have a little south of a 500,000. Little south of a 500,000. And
What are you getting at? There's
No, I'm just trying to find out.
yeah, there's a little south of a
there's not
500,000.
no money left over for us to do anything with.
Well,
Can't do much for half a
you
million anyway.
can't do a whole lot, and it's,
But if we were able to save it for, even if there was another grant next year, $500,000 goes a long way towards,
my deal is that, yeah, I mean, is it, there, when, I mean, I don't know if you remember, there were a whole bunch of hydrants sitting out there. There aren't any hydrants anymore. Those hydrants were bought extremely cheap. Hydrants are twice the cost of what they were, and there are none.
do we need to,
We're probably gonna have to buy some hydrants. And so some of that capital expense of that 500,000, we need to probably do that.
Okay.
Your deal of it, you can buy, these parts cheaper. Director Kelly said buying them and putting them on the shelf. That might be something that we instruct Demetrio to do. But if you end up having a big leak, like you did at 42nd
Moss.
and Moss, or 1936 and 16, that you need up $400,000 in a heartbeat.
Well, we have the
So,
recurring maintenance pipe to ground. Money.
yeah,
But,
but you
well,
can have
yeah, but
one big leak.
there ain't a 500,000 sitting
Right.
there.
Mhm.
Anyway, well, one more question. At the beginning of the meeting, you mentioned about something about subdivisions.
Mhm.
I know we're getting, I don't know if it's subdivision or some apartments built right next to the nice tower.
Mhm.
How many meters have you been put on there? Because it's several buildings.
Yes. Yeah, so that's, you're talking about Franco's property?
I
Yes,
think
I think it's Franco's property. And so he's putting in infrastructure.
No, he started over on Knox. They've already got some like apartment buildings. built
Right.
Right,
Right
right
next to
behind the water station. They're almost like, there's one right next to the other.
Condos, little type of building.
Yeah.
Well, the new word's condo, we used to call it duplexes.
Duplexes,
Yeah.
okay.
But
You know, how
I
many
think
meters?
that's what he's talking.
Right, it's like right on Knox, next to the water tower.
So it's the water tower, then the road, then right next to it.
Yeah, right behind it.
Yeah, so what he's doing is he builds them and sells them, then he's putting in then we're putting in the services. So we're not like going through 50 of them at a time. And even the builders will come in and visit with us as we go through their plans and stuff, and they will give us projections of what they feel like they're doing, so that we go ahead and get them on order.
But you don't know what, how many it's gonna be.
Well, we just approved, an annexation for him
Mhm.
right down. I
Right
was seeing,
there.
over here by the school, was 70-something acres, and he's already over there subdividing the streets out, moving in.
Yeah, he's
Water
building,
lines.
I think it's 70,
Almost 100 houses.
almost 100 houses,
Almost
and they're
100.
gonna be Franco houses, so they're gonna be.
High-end houses.
But I've also.
High end to the west of this.
Well, I mean, Franco,
Big house.
I put,
Well, he does nice.
I ain't buying houses. That's what I'm saying.
He makes a nice looking set.
Well, I
He
tell
does.
you,
Oh, yeah.
and I
But I
will tell
mean,
you,
I'm just saying the quality of what he builds, I'll put up against pretty much anybody I work for in Odessa. Alone.
I buy his house before.
Mhm.
Beaton boat.
Beat both.
Oh, yeah. Or DR board. Sure.
Anyhow,
People already done.
but what I was gonna tell you is that there is I've been told that Franco has been visiting with,
Beaten boat.
to sell all of it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
to have him sell them for him?
No.
Or
Oh,
he's
sell
gonna
He's
sell
gonna sell the whole,
Sell all of his
after he gets all
properties.
the, after he gets all the infrastructure in, then Bo would entertain buying all of it because it would be paved, all the water lines, all the utilities, everything would be run. All they'd have to do is build the house and put in septic.
And I promise you, they put in more than 100 houses.
He ain't selling.
Well, they can't,
Absolutely.
they cannot,
Wow.
because the
His
septic
part
system
that's subdivided.
That's right.
they can't. Because, yeah, somebody said, oh, well, he's, it's like, no, back up, we're in the county. So,
So they're gonna, and probably they'll have to put septics out there.
all of it, where there's no.
100%.
Yeah, I did a
Wow.
survey the other day that was from the chamber. And what would help grow this area that already has some infrastructure in it? And so I told him sewer,
So we're just- oh, yeah.
Yeah. you bring me sewer,
What,
Who are you talking
commerce.
We're moving on.
I think we're done.
Oh, I thought we were gonna go with the last page.
Okay, well, it's just got
I mean, it's mostly on the note, but what's the water master plan for 150 grand? What was that for?
so really that 150, which I didn't move over, which we have enough income to where we could move that over. For any, and that's always been there for any like capital outlay improvement.
Okay.
So, I left it off. I didn't know whether we didn't use it this year, if you wanted to put it back in,
Well,
as a what
you're
if.
You're talking like capital investment? Well.
And it
I
can
don't
be
know
used
if you're
for
gonna
pickup
fix
trucks.
back up. Carol brought up here a while back about the road cuts and stuff, and I'm thinking we need to be doing that too.
Then you're gonna have tired, you will have tired people.
But we may want. Well, it depends on how many road cuts we get requested for, but, I mean, we don't have rock solid stuff like that, and I understand that would have to be a rented item. But we got
We can do
backhoe
it.
and a couple of 3 employees who could do it, but
But they would.
I don't know if there'd be any outlay of expense right off the bat.
And I mean, that's something that we really have to sit down and look at, because, do we limit ourselves on how far we're doing road cuts? Because I know we can't cut across Moss or Knox.
42nd.
But these little small side roads, we can, but,
The rock's gonna be the main thing.
yeah. And that'd be nice. We know that our guys can do it, it's just a matter of acquiring the equipment.
Equipment, the liability, and additional staff, and then, it's like, so what I would encourage y'all to do, if that's what you want to try to do, is do that, is like everything else, it's a cost of doing business. So if that's what you want, put together what you think that cost would incur, so then you can offset what you're actually gonna charge.
Well,
I think so.
I remember there being a discussion at the board meeting on costs and stuff and how much. And some of it gets pretty expensive, and there's no doubt you might lose money on some of it, because it's, I think it's a service that ought to be provided.
Well, no, that comes back to, people's water lease. It's the same thing.
Or what?
the water leaks are bad on the property. So do you want to do that free, or you can say, hey, we can do this for you. This is what it's gonna cost you to figure out a charge per foot.
Oh, you'd have to.
Yes.
You
And
can-
then, and
you
then,
can't-
and the problem is, if you set a price today and they run out of poly or whatever, like Ford's out of aluminum. So truck prices next year are gonna be astronomically higher than they are this year. Because they can't get the aluminum they need. Okay? If we set a price today and poly goes out or something like that, that price can go up exponentially in days. So it's really tough for us to set a budget like that without being fortune tellers.
Well, you can always adjust your cost. I mean, you can put a disclaimer that that's the cost today, but I can change the cost any day on the website
And
or.
we would have to do that.
We'd have to
Kind
watch
of like
it.
that lobster at the restaurant marketplace.
Yeah.
When they contract that though, I mean, they're building their profit into the job. And we make our revenue from water. We don't necessarily have to make money on doing that cutout. We can do it at cost.
But as long as we don't lose money, I'm just saying, if we're doing the cutouts at cost, which is fine, as long as we're covering our cost, that's great. But if we start losing money because we're trying to help them out and then they're just putting a tap in and they're trying to sell the property and we don't sell water for 3 years, we lost money.
You basically have, I mean, it's a business plan. So what you would have to do is you would have to take into account all of the costs to do the road cut.
Yep.
Labor, the machine, everything you put into it, okay? And what that costs, what you're going to, if you're not gonna charge, then once you get them hooked up to water, how long will it take you to recoup the cost that you've spent?
Right.
Because that's all you're doing. I mean, this is what it costs me, this is how, you cook a plate of enchiladas, you sell it, how much money did I make on that plate of enchiladas? Did I make money on the enchiladas or did I make money on the, Dos Equis that I'm selling? You know, where am I making my money?
Right.
And then how many Dos Equis do I have to sell before I get you? You know what I mean? I mean, because that's what you're doing. So you're doing a road cut to get a water bill to come in.
Right.
One water bill. How much money do you have to make to offset this cost?
Right.
So that's what business people do. They, you know, you can't, and I have made this comment that business is business and you run a business off business, not off of emotion.
Yep.
But, and let me say this, Daryl brought this up we was in a board meeting one day and talked about how much cheaper the city charges for their meters and all of that. You remember that?
Yeah.
And, Dusty, is either, I think it's Dusty or
Dusty.
Dusty.
Mhm.
Dusty.
Dusty.
Because he used to work for the city. He said the city absorbs about half that cost. So they're not running a business.
Well, no, but they
No,
are.
but they
But
get
they are.
taxed.
No, here's where they're getting
They
it.
may have another way to offset it.
There you go. Yeah, which would be either subdivision cost or you raise your base rate or your rate, because you have to admit, Director Kelly, that the city in the last 4 years have gone up on their water bill almost 10%.
And we haven't.
So,
So
they're- so they are, they're. they are.
Nothing's done for free.
No. Well, you can't stay in business if you do it for free. You can't. They're getting it. And the city, plus the city, when people don't even go in there,
Not
they
being married.
charge them to look at their plans, to go out and there's a fee for everything. There's a permit fee. We don't have that extra income coming in. So while they don't, they do. You know that, you were in business.
All the more reason for it.
So,
There you go. There it is again.
you know what I mean? So, okay, so not to beat a dead horse to death, do you want me to include the 150 just in case for something?
I would.
Okay. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the
If it
100.
doesn't need to use it.
If it will use it, we'll use it.
Okay, I'm game. I just want to make, I want, this is your budget. It's not my budget. So then I'll change that. I'll adjust the total expense number by the 150 and the additional 10 for fuel. So I'll adjust it by 160,000 and then adjust the total at the bottom.
Is 150 enough here?
If it's not,
It's more than
I'll do matching.
what we used last year. It's-
Yeah.
If you look at.
It's 150% more than we had last year. All right, are there any more questions on the budget? Everybody have a pretty good understanding? Everybody's happy?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We vote on this in September.
Yes, sir. So, yeah,
We'll discuss it next week.
no, it's,
We want him to come up next week. Okay.
Yeah.
no, so I guess that's what, in closing. Once we have the meeting in September, this is what you're gonna adopt. Unless somebody reaches out to me between now and then we're probably gonna have to have another workshop. So that we're all back on the same page before we get to the meeting in September.
Okay, like we talked before about these ideas, if we have these ideas for that $45,000 money.
Yeah,
That, are we gonna, if everybody pitches in with ideas, we're gonna have another meeting like this, or we're gonna
No, if you-
take care of the regular meeting?
in a regular meeting, if you'll submit everything to me. So, because that's what I was gonna try to,
I was gonna make that part of my agenda, but I'll just drop it till we get through with the comments.
yeah, so what I was gonna say is I've already got it to put it on the agenda, on the agenda in September. I've got a note to put that link adjustment policy on there. So what I would like is all of you have a different idea. John has a different, I think John, Perla, and Patsy, myself, we should have an input because we also deal with them.
You're the ones getting your votes.
So between what y'all have, what we suggest, then we'll put together a draft to submit in September. So you need to submit your thoughts to me in either the form of an email or, and I know some of you prefer to just pick up the phone and call me so we can talk back and forth so there doesn't get any,
Doesn't get cloudy.
well, it doesn't get confused where your head is and where my head is in answering questions. So if you'll call me, we can talk through it. If you want to come in here, just call me and I'll carve out some time and we'll sit and discuss it for an hour. 2 of you can come at a time. That's not a quorum. So whatever works good for y'all, I'm here to assist you to be able to do that and work through a policy, and then we'll put together the draft in September. And then I suggested whatever changes that we discuss on that September board meeting, then in October, because that's the beginning of your new fiscal year, that you entertain adopting that policy, because that's what my staff needs to follow moving through the fiscal year.
All right. Any other questions, any other comments? I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, good. Y'all have a great day.
Like this. Wow.
You stay here then. Here's your
What's
pen
that?
back.
It's nice.
Those things in back office. What are you doing?
Annexation. Oh, somebody else wants to do it.
What'd you say?
Are you gonna come back?
Annexation.
Backbone, no se van a hacer.
Yeah.
Backbone doesn't make good.
Annexation.
Annexation forms for the next meeting.
No.
No, you should have second. Hold up, give me back your position. Okay, I'll call you right back.
Beating both houses have gotten better.
Okay.
Your orders have gotten worse.
Pardon me, please?
Such as DR, beating both.
Yeah, you have those bushings,
Bill. And
those rubber bushings? Yes, sir.
I said, you don't know what their problems are? They said, they're not building them.
You are? Okay, I'm on my way back to the office. I can meet you there or if you beat me, then, you know. There's some
By the time he gets over here, and asks about his house.
So, that's the problem.
Yeah, well, you can see my.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm out of here. I don't work.
But I do have-
I